Live from Dolphin Soccer Park on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet is proud to welcome you in to NCAA Division II men's soccer coverage, streaming exclusively on Flow College. In the College of Staten Island's second conference match of the 2025 season, they take on the Lions of Molloy University. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joe Foreman, once again on the call solo here this afternoon. And for the Dolphins, today's game is a big one. A win, and you move to 1-1 in conference play. A loss, and you're left looking to climb out of an 0-2 hole heading into the month of October. For Molloy, today marks their conference opener as they take on a Dolphins team that they've had a history of success against in the past. Facing a team that they've had a bit of a tough time against, the Dolphins wrap up a 3-match homestand today against the Lions, hoping to snap a 3-match winless skid. 2 of those 3 matches have been draws, one against Dominican on Wednesday and another against American International last week. They also suffered a 2-1 loss in their conference opener against Roberts Wesleyan 1 week ago. Despite failing to secure a win in those matches, the Dolphins were in all 3 of them and certainly had a chance to pick up a victory. And as we discussed during our last broadcast earlier in the week, there has been no shortage of chances for the Dolphins this year, and I think that's one positive to take away from this recent stretch. Today, the Dolphins get a chance to pick up their first points in the ECC standings against a Molloy team that has won 3 of 4 meetings against CSI all time. The Dolphins have scored just a single goal in those 4 meetings, but they have never allowed more than 2 goals to the Lions in a single match. Most recently, the Lions defeated the Dolphins 2-0 last season in a match that saw CSI held to just a single shot on goal. In the game that CSI won in 2023, the Dolphins held Molloy to just a single shot on goal. So during each of the last 2 matchups, the winning side has gotten a strong effort from their defense. On the other side of things, the Lions have been held to just 2 goals through 5 matches this year. CSI has found the back of the net 6 times, including 3 goals for Wolfgang Alvarado and 2 more from William Lopez. Karai Arslan and Peterson LaRose each have 2 assists as well. But I think that if you ask this Dolphins team, they would say that they believe their scoring numbers should be a bit better given the opportunities that they have had. With the last 2 meetings between these 2 sides being ruled by the winning defense, both sides will need to capitalize on their chances here this afternoon. And following a message from the sponsors of Flow College, we will have starting lineups and kickoff ahead of today's East Coast Conference matchup between the Dolphins and the Lions. Once again, this is Joe Foreman on the call for CSI Sportsnet. We'll be right back following this message from Flow sponsors.
No, I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here along with Joe Calabrese.
Here we are, 200 episodes later, got 150 episodes with guests, our friends, soon to be your friends.
Well, it's pretty clear, Joe, that it's all about You Know I'm Right, the podcast. That's my You Know I'm Right moment. Wanted to do a podcast, and everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen? You're not going to get guests. Well, guess what? I'm the best when it comes to getting guests. You could vouch for that.
I am so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials, check us out. I promise you, if you want to work in media, whether you work in media now, whether you want to quit your job and work in media, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know I'm Right.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dine-in order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island. And we are back from Dolphin Soccer Park, where we are just moments away from the introduction of starting lineups ahead of today's East Coast Conference matchup between the College of Staten Island Dolphins and the Molloy University Lions. Once again, this is Joe Foreman on the call solo for CSI Sportsnet, and the Dolphins will be wrapping up their homestand. As I mentioned earlier, a 3-match homestand will conclude today with a big conference matchup against Molloy University. The women are already in an 0-2 hole in conference play, and the men are hoping to avoid the same fate should they come up on the short end of this result against the Lions here this afternoon. The Dolphins do have a win against the Lions a couple of years ago, but Molloy has certainly gotten the better of this head-to-head matchup over the course of 4 meetings between these two men's soccer programs. With the starters getting lined up over at midfield, I will get you the starters for both teams right now, beginning first with the visiting Molloy University Lions. In numerical order, the starters for the Lions: number 3, O'Neal Dawes; number 7, Danu Kinsella Bishop; number 8, Brennan Murphy; number 9, Aiden Kolb; number 10, Charlie Morgan; number 17, Matt Lea Vittel; number 18, Matt Starr; number 21, Sean Fitzgerald; number 22, Jamal Marsai; number 25, Diego Cardina; and number 90 in goal will be Callum Hunt. Starting lineup for the College of Staten Island in numerical order. First, their goalkeeper, number 1, Lucas Schelling. The rest of the Dolphins starters: number 4, Ty Torres; number 5, Luis Asensio Cueva; number 6, Matthew Beaton; number 7, Karai Arslan; number 9, Alonso Villegas; number 10, William Lopez; number 18, Peterson LaRose; number 25, Valise Atanga; number 26, Brian Paleo; and number 27, Wolfgang Alvarado. Those are the starting lineups for both teams ahead of this big conference matchup. And while we have some extra time ahead of kickoff, let's get a look at the East Coast Conference men's soccer standings and take a look around the conference with a lot of conference games on the schedule here this weekend. We'll start first with the standings, and right now there are 2 teams at 1-0. Those 2 programs, Roberts Wesleyan and St. Thomas Aquinas. You then have 4 teams who have played to a draw: Queens, UDC, Mercy, DUville. Molloy is the only team that has yet to play. They are without a conference game. The Dolphins and the Damon University Wildcats are the only teams that are 0-1 in conference play. So that really puts into perspective how much the Dolphins need this game. To be one of only potentially 2 teams that finished the weekend 0-2, that puts you firmly on the outside looking into the playoff picture. That being said, very, very early in the conference schedule. So the Dolphins will have no need to panic if this result doesn't go their way, but I don't think that you can understate, or I should say, I don't think you can overstate the importance of this game early in the season, with the Dolphins needing to get in the win column in conference play. At the very least, you're looking to come away with a point here today, but going up against a stacked team that already has a conference win, a stacked team that's given you a lot of trouble in the past, this is a game you would really love to have if you're the Dolphins. Meanwhile, on the other side, if you're Molloy, you could potentially become one unbeaten team among 2 or 3 in the conference with a win today. That is, of course, teams without a loss or a draw. The way I'm reading it, 4 teams with a draw could also remain unbeaten today if they were to win as well. So if you're the Dolphins and Lions, it is an early season conference matchup, still an important conference game nonetheless. And with that, we'll take a look around the East Coast Conference and see what else is on the schedule today. For Saturday, September 27th, Damon University, playing in a non-conference matchup, takes on Georgian Court. St. Thomas Aquinas and UDC kicked off at 2 p.m. The Dolphins and Lions here on CSI Sportsnet. Our only 2:30 p.m. kickoff. At 3:30, Roberts Wesleyan takes on D'Youville, and at 7:30 p.m. under the lights in Flushing this evening, Queens College takes on Mercy University. Again, that game kicks off tonight at 7:30 p.m. So a lot of conference action on the slate today. The Dolphins are part of one of 4 East Coast Conference men's soccer matchups on the schedule. And if you're a fan of Dolphins soccer and a fan of our coverage here on CSI Sportsnet, we will be on the road with men's soccer for their next match following today's matchup with the Lions. Wednesday of next week, October 1st, sees the Dolphins head on the road to take on St. Thomas Aquinas College. That game is scheduled for a 2:30 p.m. kickoff as part of a men's and women's soccer doubleheader. I will be there solo with an audio-only broadcast from Spark Hill, New York. You can check that out over on our CSI Sportsnet YouTube channel. Also, pending what my schedule allows, I might be in Wilmington, Delaware as well when the Dolphins take on Goldie Beacom College. That game takes place, I believe, Thursday, October 9th, if I'm not mistaken. So a bit further down the line beyond Wednesday's game at Stack, but I'm eyeing that one as a potential road game cover as well. So we'll see what my schedule brings. We know where the Dolphins will be, and I hope to be there alongside them as well for at least the game on Wednesday. That is a certainty, perhaps for the game 1 week from next Thursday as well when they visit Goldie Beacom. But standing in the way of those 2 games is a Molloy University Lions team that visits Dolphin Soccer Park for the first time in a couple of years. Of course, the 2 teams alternate hosting each season with just 1 match played against each conference opponent for these 2 teams throughout their regular season schedule. 45 minutes up on the clock here at Dolphin Soccer Park, and we're just moments away from kickoff. The Dolphins wearing their black kits with a mix of both black and blue on the front. The blue portion on the front side of that kit alternates between blue stripes and black stripes. The other half of the front of their kits, solid black, black shorts, black socks for all of the players out there. On the other side, Molloy in maroon jerseys, white numbers, very legible on both sides. So I have to say, as a broadcaster, I am a very, very big fan of these Lions jerseys. A job well done by whoever designed these kits. And we are underway from the College of Staten Island. Dolphins and Lions here on CSI Sportsnet, streaming exclusively on Flow College. And it looks like we have a spectator in front of the camera. So we might have to send somebody outside and get our spectators to clear. Hopefully they can hear me next door, and perhaps they can go out there and take care of it for me. But as long as we have our huddle camera fixed on the rooftop above, it is not an option to put our camera operator on top of the roof. So we've been operating from just outside the press box as the Lions look to take an early throw in here. They're setting up for it to be a long throw, and that is indeed the case. Center of the box and cleared away by Atonga. That was a dangerous moment right there. That throw ended up just a few feet outside of the goal mouth with a chance for a header. The Dolphins in good position to deny the shot opportunity. Molloy with it in their own end, looking to get reset. Callum Hunt in goal for the Lions, wears number 90. Not often we see uniform numbers that high, but every once in a while you'll get the oddly numbered goalkeeper. This ball played all the way up the pitch. Schelling will backpedal into the box and will scoop it up. This match, the second of 2 today here on CSI Sportsnet. The first saw women's soccer fall to Goldie Beacom College by a final score of 2-1. As the pressure is applied here by Morgan, he is all over Ty Torres, and he forces a clearance a long way up the pitch. There's good hard defense from Peterson LaRose. And we've seen that quite a bit from him, especially when he's around the 18 defensively. Looks for those takeaways that turn into scoring chances. Very often we've seen LaRose attempting the free kicks for the Dolphins. Very dangerous on the set pieces as well. Dolphins were hoping to make something happen in the corner, but they're shielded off the ball and will concede the goal kick to Molloy. Just over 2.5 gone by as we await this goal kick. Travels a long way up the pitch across midfield. Torres there closing in, and that was deflected on the way out of the Dolphins' end. Strong challenge there by Atanga and a nice tackle as he works up the far side. Atanga up toward Villegas, but no lane there for that pass. That ball sent a long way in the other direction now. Molloy with a chance here, closing in on the 18, but Atanga, very good body positioning once again from him. Able to dispossess Leia Vittel. And we have a whistle from along the touchline, and the Dolphins have conceded the second Lions corner kick. So Molloy sets up for corner kick number 2. Or I should say corner kick number 1. The last was a throw-in that mimicked the corner. Leia Vittel toward the center of the box, off the shoulder of Paleo, and out of harm's way. It rolls up the pitch in the other direction. Quickly turning is Morgan, met by a host of Dolphins. Really no room for him. Tie up along the sideline. Morgan gets away. Now, I may have been missing a starter as Eduardo De Rosa Satiso is out there. We do not have him on my lineup sheet as a starter. So he may have been one circle short. We'll see if I can count 11. I have 11 circled, so perhaps one of the starters that I provided was not correct. That is certainly possible. Morgan plays it back. Cadena over to Marseille. Short pass for Dawes. He plays it to the far sideline. Starr right back to Dawes. Molloy early in this game has shown good patience in the back, but when they've had the opportunity to send it up the sideline specifically, they've done it, and they send one in that general direction again. It was played in the center of the pitch by Morgan. Morgan moving forward now toward the attacking third. Able to connect with Bishop. Bishop for Leia Vittel. Morgan, left-footed shot off the head of Beaton. Well, that could not have been pleasant for Matthew Beaton, but he gets the shot blocked with the head. Atanga with a weak clearance there. Leia Vittel tries again. It was blocked, and Schelling is able to bring it in. Schelling has been busy early. The long throw that I mentioned before, which effectively mimicked a corner, had him on his toes and had to come out for another one earlier as well. Was able to backpedal into the 18 and scoop it up. He's been on the move quite a bit. The Dolphins now on the move through the midfield. Beaton. Short pass to Arslan, redirected nicely. Atanga back to Beaton. 6 minutes gone by now in the first half. Here's Paleo. And there's a good ball from Paleo. We've seen that many times. Alvarado into the middle and knocked away. Marseille got a foot on it. That ball sent a long way and not kept in. As Kolb tried to get to it, couldn't make it there. But we've mentioned the trend of Paleo and his ability out of the midfield to create with the long ball up the pitch. And he connected with Alvarado about as well as he could have on that ball. That was an excellent ball from Paleo and a great first touch by Alvarado as well. And I think that's what's been key for Alvarado. He scored the 3 goals already this year, and his first touch is often so good that the ball to him doesn't need to be perfect. And he's also shown that dribbling ability in traffic, a willingness to create. Last year, Miguel Espinoza, a big creator for the Dolphins, weaving through traffic with his exceptional dribbling. And to at least replace that somewhat with Alvarado is a really big addition for this Dolphins team. Ball back with Hunt. Now Dawes. Marseille along the near side. Moving slowly up the pitch, looking for somewhere to go with it. That ball sent in the direction of Bishop, but a bit too long for him. Dolphins were last to touch it, so Molloy maybe looking for a long throw or perhaps another corner. Tough to tell where that went out from my vantage point, but it will be a Lions corner. Molloy's put the pressure on early. The long throw, a couple of corners, some shots blocked, and the corner kick on the way beyond the back post, headed straight down, and the Dolphins clear. Arslan racing up the pitch, trying to get to it, and that's a good job to cut him off by Cadena. LaRose back to Beaton. Shelling off the foot of Atanga. And Arslan was grabbed. Play continues. Ball played through. Villegas gets there. The keeper goes down. Hunt springs back up. Down goes Villegas. And the Dolphins, hoping to get a whistle, did not. Hectic sequence there. And it ends with a goal kick from Molloy played short. So we'll have to wait to get a look. But a lot happened there during that sequence. It started with the ball through the midfield over to Arslan. Arslan had his jersey grabbed, stayed with it, was able to find Villegas on the through ball, and then Villegas, after the keeper went down, worked toward the touchline and just couldn't get one in front. Dolphins thought he was contacted as Torres clears that one away over the near side. So Molloy throws in quickly, wasting no time. Lions, short, quick passes here. Kolb went down. Alvarado now applied some pressure to Cadena. That's sent in the air. It's a free-for-all. Asensio Cueva got a piece, and Torres will clear. So that will buy the Dolphins some time to regroup defensively as Molloy prepares to throw. And two soccer balls come soaring in from the woods. It's been a strong first 10 minutes for Molloy. And I think we can expect them to throw this long again. Kolb will throw. A long throw toward goal, punched away. Chance for a shot, knocked down. And forced to retreat is Bishop. Good job by the Dolphins to crowd that area and not allow a shot to get through. That ball was almost thrown on goal. I think it may have been. And having a player capable of throwing it that long with that kind of accuracy, a huge boost for an attack. As a whistle came in, and a foul will go against Alvarado and the Dolphins. So a free kick is awarded to Molloy here. It looks like Hunt is going to take it. Not often you see a goalkeeper line up to attempt a free kick from this spot. And he certainly has the big leg to do it. Ball comes down on the foot of Peterson LaRose. LaRose for Arslan, back to Atanga. Atanga overran it. Leia Vittel now looked to play it ahead, and he may have had Bishop through were it not for that breakup. Another good tackle by LaRose working along the sideline. Was he last to touch it? No, he was not. Leia Vittel got a foot on it. Throw in Dolphins. Short throw and a takeaway from Molloy. LaRose comes back to dispossess Kolb. And now the Dolphins work up the far side. Villegas racing up the pitch. Hunt way off his line. And Puleo in the midfield chips it in the air toward Arslan, headed the other way by Murphy. LaRose now into the midfield. Challenged from behind. Kolb knocked it away from him, and committing the foul was Murphy. LaRose takes a seat on the pitch. Beaton looking to help him up, and he will get up under his own power. So that halts the pace of this one for at least a few moments. These two teams going back and forth early. Beaton toward the top of the box, headed and rolling toward the corner. Molloy keeps it in there. Marseille up the pitch, headed toward LaRose. LaRose has some room. Often looks to shoot from there. Did not this time. And it was sent into the box by Arslan. No Dolphin in the area. Hunt waving his team up the pitch. And he has a big leg. That one pinballs around for a moment. Comes down in front of Murphy. Murphy met by two Dolphins, gives it up. This is Starr, and I think there was some contact on Murphy as two Dolphins came together, shadowing him on that ball. And very quickly after the ball began on the foot of their goalkeeper, we're right back at the other end of the pitch with a chance for Molloy on a free kick. Inside of 31 minutes to go now. DeRosa Sotiso, the free kick taker, sends one toward goal. That was off the body of Beaton, who took a lot of contact there. It looked like Kolb tried to go over the top of him for an attempt at a header. And it looks like our obstruction was just cleared. A bit of a cameo for one of our spectators. We thank him for his cooperation. We approach 30 minutes remaining in the first half. No score between the Dolphins and Lions. Possession time in this one has belonged almost exclusively to Molloy. Dolphins have made some good plays defensively. And as I mentioned before, a big part of what the Dolphins and Lions did well the last couple of meetings between these two teams, the winning team, what they did well is limit shots. Early in this game, Molloy's had a few. There's a lot of contact there, no whistle, as the ball ends up in the Dolphins' bench. Now, did they call a foul up the pitch? I don't believe so. It's going to be a Lions throw from in front of the CSI bench. Another long one, headed in a good direction for Molloy, but Asensio Cueva was waiting there. Dolphins working in the midfield. A lot of pressure being applied. Quick passing here by CSI. That ball for Villegas was met by Dawes onto the foot of Hunt. And Hunt into the midfield sends one through Morgan and over the touchline. Dolphins to throw. Asensio Cueva had Morgan come screaming down at him. And again, the Dolphins are awarded the throw. Ball ends up in the midfield. LaRose meets it right along the midfield stripe. Hoped to switch play toward the far side. Couldn't get enough air on that ball. LaRose back to Asensio Cueva. Alvarado working through traffic. Down he goes. And he was impeded by Kolb there. Foul against Molloy. Free kick Staten Island. Beaton. Wanted Alvarado. but it was kept away from him and headed over the touchline by Cadena. Short throw, Villegas. Now Asensio Cueva pressured along the sideline by Morgan, and Molloy has it. That ball threads the needle and finds the foot of Bishop. Off Palaio's heel, headed by Torres. Now LaRose. Nice dribbling there by LaRose. Here come the Dolphins now. Palaio for Arslan, but it didn't get there quickly enough, and Starr looked to streak up the pitch, but the Dolphins deny him. Sliding attempt at that ball by Kolb, and Molloy is awarded the throw. They rule that he sent it off of Atanga. At least I would suppose that was the ruling. Ball with Molloy now in the midfield. Dawes. Marseille. This is Dawes again. Generally, Molloy has been quite patient, and then once they send that ball into the final third, it's been quick passes, quick decisions, and there, a quick cross. And there's a shot wide. Schelling lets it go. Matt Leavitel on that last attempt, off target. And it will be a Dolphins goal kick coming up here. Schelling. Into the midfield. It's headed back the other way. LaRose spins away from traffic. Got enough of it to find Lopez, and his pass broken up for Villegas. Lopez still hustling after it, but he commits the foul. Free kick coming up here for Molloy. Dawes initially lined up over that ball. He gives way to his goalkeeper, Hunt. Hunt waving his teammates over just a bit and sends one toward the 18, headed that way, and Asensio Cueva clears, conceding a throw. So good job there by Asensio Cueva not to concede the corner. But here we go again. Molloy setting up for that long throw. Throw on the way, center of the box, and Schelling shows off the good hands there as he brings it in. Schelling's hands have been tested. Perhaps his reflexes not quite as much. I don't believe a shot has gotten through yet, at least not close. No shots on goal officially from Molloy, but they've had a lot of chances from in close. A lot of contact there over the back of Arslan. Dolphins are awarded a throw. Short throw toward Villegas, last contacted by Villegas. Throw from Molloy, bodied down by Atanga. Arslan tight roping that sideline, plays it all the way back toward Beaton. A lot on that ball. Beaton had to retreat quickly. This is Schelling now. Schelling in the direction of Atanga. A lot of contact there. And there's a line down. Play continues. And once again, Molloy will get reset from the back. Dawes up toward Leavitel. He was the player who went down there. Alvarado had it hit off his heel. Gets it to Asensio Cueva. Asensio Cueva avoids a pair of Lions. Alvarado now being harassed from behind. And Torres sends a souvenir up into the bleachers. A few more of those, and he'll have to put up a sign, beware of balls headed out of play. Reminiscent of the foul ball signs that you see at Major League Baseball stadiums. Our crew made it to Yankee Stadium the other night. Sam Whalen catching a foul ball. That'll be a nice piece on the desk in the office. Nick, Sam, and I signing that one. That one headed back toward the midfield. Asensio Cueva finds Alvarado. Alvarado working back toward midfield, has beaten. Short pass, Atanga, as we've crossed the midway point here in the first half. Just over 22 minutes to go in half number one. This is Villegas. Back to Atanga. Toward Alvarado. Good positioning there by Cadena. LaRose now with it. LaRose for Alvarado. Alvarado again working against Cadena. Alvarado puts one toward the back post off the fingertips of Hunt. And that will award the Dolphins a corner kick. You will certainly take that if you're CSI. Didn't look like much would come from that cross, but Hunt just couldn't bring it in. It's off his fingertips over the touchline, and a Dolphins corner kick is on its way. LaRose will be the corner taker. First corner of the game for the Dolphins. Heads toward the box, headed by Torres, and over everything into the netting. And we have a whistle for what I believe is the game's first substitution. Jarvis Cleo will check in. Brennan Murphy will head to the Lions bench. At a glance, and again, always tough to tell for sure, it looks like the Dolphins have a much larger bench than Molloy does. That's first impression. Didn't count it out exactly. In terms of roster size, the two teams look pretty similar, but in terms of present players on the bench, Dolphins might have just a few more. Again, Molloy working patiently out of the back. As I said earlier, it's been once they play the ball long up into the attacking third. From there, they have worked very, very quickly. The long throws have jump-started some attacking plays. They've found many different ways to generate opportunities, and it's hard to believe they haven't put one on goal yet. Dolphins, since the early going, have done a good job of limiting the chances around net. But their defense in terms of blocked shots has been impressive. Good body positioning in the 18. They've been aggressive without being overly aggressive, as Atanga wins CSI possession there, but that ball off the mark. I mention all the time that we often have aspiring officials in the stands, sometimes on this crew, as the Lions move in. And the takeaway for Torres and the Dolphins, but we have some aspiring coaches in the crowd as well. The crowd always lending their advice and counsel, sometimes, if not always, completely unsolicited. Never would we do such a thing here on Sportsnet. And yeah, that had to be a whistle in one way or the other. Lopez completely taken down. And Lopez stays down. And at first glance, it doesn't look good because he went right for his shoulder. And oftentimes when you go down with the weight of another player on top of you or go down arm first, you get in that dangerous landing where you could end up with a dislocated shoulder. The good news is the remedy is typically a visit from the trainer and hopefully the correct adjustment. But We'll hope that's not the case for Lopez and that he just went down awkwardly. The way he was sort of hunched over in the seated position, not really using that right arm, it made me think it was probably an awkward landing on that arm or with that arm extended. But he's walking off. Looked uncomfortable, but appears okay. So that's good to see. The clock was stopped at 18:36. We'll get that corrected. So now we're back where we're supposed to be here. And if Lopez misses an extended stint, that's a big loss for the Dolphins. He headed over in the direction of the trainer's table, but yeah, they're going to attend to him now. Keep an eye on him on that sideline, and if he makes his way to the scorer's table for substitutions, that would be a welcome sight for the Dolphins, as it looks like his replacement is headed in that direction now. That's Nicholas Tawaya getting set to check in. We're back underway with a free kick off the foot of Matthew Beaton. It's headed in the air. Players waiting for it to come down. Paleo has it on his foot. Now Arslan had his shot blocked. Morgan sent it off the chest of Alvarado, gets it away up the pitch. This is Bishop. Alvarado took a spill there. Springs right back up and continues to apply some pressure. Molloy working it toward the far side. That one off the head of Atonga, kept in, but not controlled by Arslan. Strong challenge there from Tawaya. Nicely done. And we have a whistle for a Dolphins free kick. LaRose up ahead, and they will not let the Dolphins play it. Crowd didn't like it. The Dolphins bench certainly did not like it. Very quickly we'll see if the Dolphins have a case. Yeah, the official didn't give him the all clear there as Beaton plays this one toward the box. And it bounces into the arms of Hunt. And the official had his back to the play. And had that been allowed, I think the Dolphins would have had a really good chance to make something happen. Certainly a goal, no sure thing, but a chance to score one looked to be forthcoming. Asensio Cueva chips it up in the air. Tawaya in between two Lions turns and wanted Villegas but put too much on it. Molloy with it now, just beyond the midfield. Dawes. Short pass for Starr. Starr again. Over to Dawes. Marsai. Morgan had it briefly knocked away. Khalil toward the near side. Cadena there waiting. Cadena moves ahead. Sends one into the box. A good ball, just a bit too high. He had Kolb making a run as the official takes one right off the side of the face. That's unfortunate if you're the referee. Dropped ball. The call here. One of the hazards of the job as a referee. Arslan has it now. As we approach 15 minutes to go, the Dolphins look to work through the midfield. Arslan not being given much room, had to give it up. And that was off the mark for Atanga, who just got there in time. Beaton sends one into the midfield, knocked down by Molloy. Quick passes by the Lions, trying to find Bishop on that one. Couldn't connect with him, but it bounces back in his direction. And now that one is sent onto the foot of Leah Vittel. Arslan disrupting things, jockeying for position and possession. Atanga right along the touchline. And the Dolphins very nearly conceded the corner there. Molloy just hopes to keep it, and the Dolphins clear. Quite remarkable that ball didn't end up over the touchline. Short throw by the Dolphins onto the foot of Beaton. Beaton for LaRose. LaRose for Alvarado. Alvarado had his shot blocked. Did regain possession. Cadena all over him. Got some help from Morgan. The Dolphins are awarded the throw, so they keep possession. Asensio Cueva looking. Has LaRose. LaRose. Back to Asensio Cueva. And he puts it past Alvarado and Cadena. Cadena. Short pass, Marseille. Off the head of Kolb. And it is rolling toward two players. First to it was Cleel. Cleel for Starr. Starr, long ball up the pitch. Leah Vittel, the nearest attacker. Beaton comes in sliding and clears it away. Paleo skips over a challenge. Down he goes. And it will be a Molloy throw taken quickly. Cleared again by the Dolphins. It did not travel over the touchline. And we have a whistle and a foul called against Molloy. Free kick, Staten Island. Once again, it looks like Beaton is lining up to take it. That one headed in the air. Onto the foot of Arslan. He has some room. Looking for Alvarado. Can he get there? He does. Kept it in momentarily and has control. Great job there by Alvarado. And it looks like the Dolphins may have a corner kick upcoming here. That corner not visible to us up here in the press box. And it will be a throw. So the clearance did not concede a corner. Certainly the preferable outcome for Molloy. And immediately Morgan has a takeaway and a foul is committed by the Dolphins. That's a good foul. No problem giving a foul in that spot if you're CSI. We are inside of 12 minutes to go in the half. No score between the Dolphins and Lions. And as I mentioned during the pregame, important for the Dolphins to come away with a point today. 0-2, not the start you want in conference play. Two big conference matches coming up next week. What you do during the next 7 days could alter the trajectory of your season for better or worse. This is Arslan. Working toward the 18. Left-footed shot was blocked. LaRose may try again. And he shoots high and wide. Here's one more look at that last sequence. The initial shot by Arslan was blocked. LaRose would try again. There's the block. LaRose off the rebound. High and wide. Short goal kick was taken by Molloy. Cleel wanted Cadena. Asensio Cueva came sliding in. Couldn't knock the ball away. Molloy looking to move into the attacking third. Cadena had his pass broken up by Paleo. Now Cleel for the far side. This is Starr. Starr with a rocket. Somehow, Bishop was able to play it. Bishop shoots and he scores! How did Bishop corral that ball and then manage to score? What a job by Bishop. We will get a second look as Molloy takes the 1-0 lead. Here is how it happened. It all started on the near side. Pass broken up. Cleel switches play to the far side. An absolute rocket of a ball looked to be played off the toes of Danu Kinsella Bishop. Bishop then took it the rest of the way and scored. A beautiful first touch. I don't know how he controlled it, but Bishop has made it a 1-0 game. The Dolphins have to be shocked by how quickly that developed, and I said it earlier. When Molloy has played the ball long into the attacking third, from there they have worked very, very quickly. That attacking play no different, and it results in the match's first goal. 1-0 Lions over the Dolphins. Danu Kinsella Bishop with the score, and Molloy now has the lead with under 10 minutes to play in this first half. Dolphins, as I just mentioned, have a bit less than 10 minutes to try and net an equalizer. Villegas may have a chance, but he couldn't get there in time. The Dolphins would love to go into the half even, if they can. And I think for the Dolphins as well, even in the games where they've been competitive, they've yet to go into half with a lead in any match, if I'm not mistaken. I don't believe the Dolphins have led at halftime in a match and have trailed at half in most of their matches. Another chance here. No room for error from our side, but he got rid of it. DeRosa Sotiso up the pitch, was able to connect with Kolb. Kolb was hoping to play Steph Maurice through, but he wasn't quick enough to get to it. That ball too far in front of him. That one sent into the midfield. A lot of bodies coming together there. The Dolphins hope to capitalize as they work up toward the corner. Dawes was able to clear. One of his teammates was a bit shaken up. That might have been DeRosa Sotiso. Dolphins will throw. Maybe they'll look to throw long here. Not quite as long as Molloy has. As that one's through the 5-hole. Finds Arslan, cross, nobody home. And that pass getting to Arslan was a bit surprising. It had to go through the legs of a Lions defender. Molloy will throw here with under 8 minutes to play in the half. That one headed into the midfield, kept in along the touchline. Asensio Cueva played it up into the air, and we have a foul called against Molloy. So the Dolphins are awarded a free kick not too far out of the 18. And if you're the Dolphins, you would love to turn this into a scoring chance. Based upon what we've seen on many of CSI's free kicks, they've lined up two over the ball. Arslan and LaRose both very capable of shooting it. Either one of them could be looking to put this on goal. Looks like they might be talking it over right now. Here we go. 4 Lions on the wall. LaRose approaches. Arslan for LaRose. LaRose looking to play it in front. It's volleyed high. From point-blank range, the Dolphins had a chance to net an equalizer and could not convert. It's a point that Aaron made. We'll get a look at it a bit slowed down from in close. If we have to cut away, we will. We're going to slow it down just a bit. This one is a second look we have to have. LaRose from Arslan in front and sent high. I think it was Beaton who came streaking in and got a foot on it. The ball from LaRose had just a bit of air on it. It did not arrive on the turf. And I think that caused Beaton to catch it underneath and send it high. But you know that's one he believes he should have had. Easily the best chance of the game for the Dolphins. And I think if you're CSI, at the very least, it's good to see some life from your attack. Capitalizing almost to the fullest extent on that set piece. They had as good a look as you could ask for. Ball in the midfield now. Sliding tackle by Kolb. He's got it. Kolb moving forward quickly. Morgan works back toward the center of the pitch. Has some room here. Morgan taking his time. Cadena with just over 5 minutes to play in the half. Right back to Morgan. Bishop tied up with Torres. And Morgan will chase it down again. Once again, Molloy will switch play toward the far side. Starr, met by Arslan, gave it up. Maurice couldn't get to that ball, and Molloy will reset once again. Dawes over to Marseille. Cadena. From Marseille. Bishop. Played it up into the air. Avoided Alvarado, but passed it right to LaRose. LaRose for Tawaya. Right back to LaRose. LaRose through some traffic. And a quick one-touch pass intercepted by Molloy. LaRose got the foot in again. We give LaRose plenty of credit as a shot taker, a scorer, facilitator. He's played some really good defense in the matches we've covered here on Sportsnet. As Asensio Cueva with some good defense as well. Strong sliding tackle, avoided any body contact. Nothing but ball on that sliding tackle as the Dolphins earn a throw. Just over 3.5 minutes to play here in the first half. Alvarado back to Beaton. Beaton moving forward, given some room. Wanted either a Tonga or a Tawaya, but Dawes is forced into a clearance. Quick throw. Tawaya, really without much room, almost escaped. And the Dolphins will throw again with 3 minutes to go in the half. Throw in for Tawaya, shadowed. Attempted cross, broken up. Paleo couldn't get a piece. Kolb for Cadena. Bishop, closely defended by Torres. Quick give and go. Cadena, cross, does not get through. That one sent in the air, Maurice there. And Atonga headed it away. Kolb battling with Arslan. Just over 2 minutes to go in the half. And I think the Dolphins have been awarded either a throw or a free kick. And with Beaton heading for the ball, it looks like a free kick. As we wind down toward 2 minutes to go. Beaton's free kick. Taken beyond midfield, Alvarado with a good first touch once again, but didn't have enough room. The official had to hightail it out of there. Almost got run over. And now Bishop making a run against Torres. Looks to move in on goal. Shot high. Just didn't have the angle to put one on target. A good run by Bishop, a good ball to get it to him, and good body positioning by Torres, who's been effective defensively. Bishop has really put him to work in this one, but Torres has stayed right there with him, hasn't gotten a breather either. And with 1:15 to go in the half, the Dolphins will have a goal kick. Long boot from Schelling across midfield. Headed toward the sideline. LaRose had his jersey grabbed. And he's whistled for a foul on Kolb. 1 minute remaining in the half. Molloy leads Staten Island 1-0, and the Lions will have the benefit of a free kick. I'd say this is right on the edge between the midfield and the final third. The ball almost directly on the touchline at the edge of the Lions bench. Morgan to attempt the free kick. His attackers lined up near the top of the 18. Free kick on its way, headed toward goal onto the foot of Asensio Cueva, and play back into the midfield. Villegas jogging lightly toward it as Hunt will clear it away. 13 seconds to go in the half. Dolphins likely to clear it one last time. Final 5 seconds. Kolb for Cleel. Just a bit wide of the frame. Not much on that shot. And that will do it for half number 1. 45 minutes in the books from Dolphin Soccer Park. And it is the Molloy University Lions leading the College of Staten Island Dolphins by a score of 1-0. The final 45 minutes of this East Coast Conference matchup coming up on the other side of our halftime break. First, a message from the sponsors of Flow College. And when we come back, we will have the second half from Dolphin Soccer Park.
NCAA sponsors 90 national championships each year, none of which could happen without officials. There is an urgent need for sports officials across the country, as they are retiring 4 times faster than they are coming in, leaving shortages at all levels of sport. The NCAA recognizes the importance of officiating on the student-athlete experience and is dedicated to the recruitment and retention of new officials for all sports. There are many great reasons to become an official. Stay in shape and get paid to do so. Meet new people and build relationships within a tight-knit community. Give back to the sport you love by creating a fair atmosphere and upholding the integrity of the game. Say yes to officiating. Visit ncaa.org/say yes to officiating for more information on how to get started.
No, I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here along with Joe Calabrese.
Here we are, 200 episodes later, about 150 episodes with guests, our friends, soon to be your friends.
Well, it's pretty clear, Joe, that it's all about You Know I'm Right, the podcast. That's my You Know I'm Right moment. Wanted to do a podcast, and everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen? You're not going to get guests. Well, guess what? I'm the best when it comes to getting guests. You could vouch for that.
I am so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials, check us out. I promise you, if you want to work in media, whether you work in media now, whether you want to quit your job and work in media, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know I'm Right.
Joe Foreman back with you from Dolphins Soccer Park as we get set to begin the second half between the College of Staten Island and Molloy University. The Lions lead the Dolphins 1-0. It was Danu Kinsella Bishop who netted the go-ahead goal for Molloy. First tally for either side and the only tally for either side thus far. It was a pass from, we believe, Matt Starr that came off his foot with tremendous velocity. It was then knocked down by the toes of Bishop, and that great first touch set him up for a run on goal with defenders tailing him. Bishop made no mistake on the shot and put it in as Molloy looks to build an attack quickly here to begin the half, and Beaton may have redirected that one into the arms of his goalkeeper. Unfortunately for the Dolphins, he did, because Bishop had a lane to potentially get a shot off. A lot to unpack in that sequence, but fortunately for the Dolphins, it does not result in a goal, and sure enough, Beaton did get a foot on it. Just got a look on our second screen. Nicely done by Beaton. And if he didn't get a piece, that could have been a goal for Molloy and a 2-0 lead. Instead, now the Dolphins get to work. Tawaya for Alvarado. Alvarado back to Asensio Cueva. Alvarado again with room into the box. Villegas on goal and covered up by Hunt. Back and forth action early in this second half. Beaton prevented a shot from in close by Molloy. The Dolphins head right back the other way. And Villegas puts one in the direction of goal and on target. Easily saved by Hunt. That one off the head of Villegas. Schelling racing for the touchline and won't get there. So the Dolphins inadvertently concede a corner there. Not really much Villegas could have done or make that Beaton. Beaton had his back to the play. It hit him in the back of the head and rolled right over. Molloy set up for a corner. That one toward the back post, but Schelling, without much of an obstruction, is able to grab it. A very eventful 2 minutes plus early in the second half. Schelling taking his time, and he will send it away beyond midfield. It bounces toward Atonga. He got a piece of it with his head. Atonga with room. Working into the box, avoids a challenge. Atonga in front, it pinballs around. Dolphins looking for a lane to shoot, and it's wide. Alvarado with a chance for his fourth equalizing goal in 2 weeks. Sent it wide of the frame. What a chance for the Dolphins. Here's a look at it yet again. Atonga put in good work to beat his marker, to avoid a challenge, and then to put it in a very dangerous position. It almost got deflected in by Molloy. Instead, Alvarado sent it wide. It doesn't get much more action-packed than this through 3 minutes plus. My voice was going at halftime, not doing much better now. And for me today, this is the second of 3 that I will call. We have a game later tonight elsewhere that I'll be on the call for, not related to Dolphin soccer. As Alvarado off a great ball from LaRose, moving in, shot saved. Hunt sliding forward, got a piece of it. Alvarado could not elevate it over him. And the Dolphins with yet another great chance. Here's what set it up. LaRose for Alvarado. And Alvarado was able to put it in as Hunt sends one into the midfield. And by put it in, I mean put it in on goal, not put it into the net. Paleo stonewalled Bishop right there. Alvarado for Villegas. Flag up. Offside's the call. And the Dolphins are denied via the offsides flag this time. Free kick for Molloy. This has been about as fast-paced of a 5 minutes as we've seen in the entire match. Chances for both sides. The Dolphins with 2 or 3 extraordinary chances. This is Arslan. Back to Schelling. Schelling into the midfield. Headed there by DeRosa Satiso. Cleo went down, wanted a foul. Have to admit, I've really been a fan of the officiating today. They've let them play primarily. Have only really blown the whistle when it's been a very clear and definitive foul. Hasn't been much of a complaint from any of the benches in either game, and I think the only time that we've seen a bench get animated is when the Dolphins were not allowed to play a free kick as quickly as they would have liked. But it's been a great job by the officials all day long. Still 39 minutes to go as the Dolphins continue to apply pressure down around goal. Dawes with a dangerous pass. LaRose takes it. Alvarado moving into the box. Plays one in front and could not connect with Villegas. That will go down as a shot on goal. Hunt on top of it. Third shot on goal for Staten Island. And they now have an advantage in that category, 3-2. That one headed in the direction of Torres, and he coughs it up. Great job there by Atonga. He goes down as he was yanked by the jersey, and the clock was just stopped. The head official wants a word with Aiden Kolb, and he's letting him know that's enough. They'll tell Beaton to move back a bit. Not sure he moved back at all. Free kick on the way up the pitch. Dolphins get a good bounce off of Tawaya. Arslan was dispossessed briefly by Dawes. And Leia Vittel comes away with it. LaRose back to Beaton. Schelling for Beaton. Beaton toward Alvarado. Not a bad idea. Tawaya, though, gets to it. Looking for a lane. Tawaya in the middle. Alvarado dispossessed. He did not get the shot off. As that one sent into the box, once again we have a bit of an obstruction. I'm sure Pat will take care of that for us. Yes, he will. Thank you very much. The fate of our focus camera on top of the press box remains to be seen. There is a chance the teams may look to use that in the future. So for now, it remains affixed to the top of the press box. What I can tell you is that it will never be used as our main camera for game video again. That was an experiment that lasted for maybe a year and a half, and it's one that I was not a fan of. And it's one that comes to an end with our first games back here at Dolphin Soccer Park earlier this month. Arslan for Atonga. Nice job there by Atonga. And he's proven himself really adept at finding creative ways to beat his marker with the first touch. Good body control as well to make that touch on the ball and then contort himself around his marker without losing too much of his momentum up the pitch. He's played really well. And I think when you look at both the men's and women's soccer teams, what you see is a group comprised of a lot of newcomers at the forward spots and in the midfield, and a lot of those players have impressed a great deal. Alvarado, among those impressive newcomers. Back to Asensio Cueva, a 4-year senior captain for this men's soccer team. Throw in here from Molloy. Men's soccer without a lot of 4-year seniors on this team. That ball A good one. Kolb looking for room. Connects with Leia Vettel. Now Bishop. And it's blocked on the way in. Beaton right there, shadowing his goalkeeper Schelling. And Beaton was able to keep it out. It's going to be a Dolphins goal kick. Here's a look at that block by Beaton. Kept the hands out of the equation and did a good job to make sure that shot never made it on goal. And during the pregame, highlighted the effort of the defenses in the most recent victories for each side as part of this rivalry. And the defenses in this one, though they've allowed a pretty hefty volume of shots, I'll have to go double check the full shot tally, but in terms of shots on goal, just 5 overall. 3 for the Dolphins and 2 for the Lions. This one rolling back toward goal. Hunt almost lost his footing with Villegas right there. Very dangerous. We had a whistle, and I wasn't sure if they were going to stop the clock. Long throw once again taken by Molloy. We've seen plenty of those. Here come the Dolphins again. LaRose for Arslan. Molloy positioned well defensively at the moment. Arslan for LaRose. DeRosa Sortiso shouldering LaRose off the ball. Starr for Bishop. Bishop trying to gain control, got it away. Kolb for Leia Vettel. Kolb with room, wanted Bishop through, but couldn't connect. That one headed. It ends up on the foot of Cleel. Back over to Cadena and Cleel. Marseille for Dawes, back near side Starr. Leia Vettel hoped to turn, but Atanga providing too much resistance. Now Tawaya for Arslan. Arslan looked to cross, and Villegas misses high. The Dolphins simply beside themselves as they have had chance after chance from in close here in this second half. Once again, they failed to convert. And I think we've reached that point now where if you're the Dolphins, you have to believe that maybe it's a bit mental. Because they had the chance right there. It looked for sure as if they would deliver on that attempt by Villegas. Instead, it traveled a bit high. Ball in the midfield with CSI now. Anthony Benvenuto just checked in. LaRose was looking in his direction, but I think Benvenuto wanted that ball a bit sooner. I'll tell you, spectators didn't like that play. That being said, I'm not quite sure we've ever heard one so vocal about it. They wanted LaRose to get that ball to Benvenuto and certainly made their opinion felt. I think it was loud enough to be heard on the pitch as well. So it's not something you see quite that often, especially during a home match. Dolphins, meanwhile, will have a goal kick upcoming. Schelling taking his time ahead of this goal kick. Just over 30 minutes to go in the half as the Dolphins play the goal kick short. Beaton working into the midfield. That one past Atonga. Cleo comes back to get it. Benjamin Byrne into the game for Molloy. He wears number 4. Waits to throw in here following the substitution. So the Lions now beginning to send some more players on. Heading over to the bench was DeRosa Sotiso. LaRose for Tawaya, and Tawaya got hit hard from behind. That one I'm a bit surprised didn't draw a whistle. Anything that occurs along this near side, very, very close to us up here in the press box. Our field division begins with the area just inside of the near sideline touchline. Anything out of play, you really can't see it from the press box unless you stand up or lean out the window. That's where we lose our view of the corners from time to time. LaRose wants Villegas. Villegas corrals it, and his shot was blocked. Cadena got in the shooting lane, and Villegas couldn't put it past him. Dolphins, time and time again in the second half, have put the Lions in a position where they've been very much on their heels, very much in a defensive state of mind, and perhaps scrambling just a bit. And I think that's the most important piece of the equation. If you can keep the defense scrambling and keep them just struggling to get back into position, makes things really difficult. And the Dolphins have not only done that, but they've had plenty of quality chances. They just have not been able to convert. And I think the attempt by Villegas really stings as Tawaya will shoot, and that is saved. Hunt will scoop it up for the Dolphins. Hugo Soriat has checked in. That substitution just announced over public address. Molloy working toward the center of the pitch. Leia Vitale for Cleo. Cleo back to Kolb. Kolb with room. Gets into one. Stopped by Schelling. Schelling put to the test right there, but delivers a big save. One that, with the way things have gone, it's feeling more and more like the Dolphins had to have. If you ask the Dolphins bench, I think they would tell you they should probably be leading in this game, given the opportunities that have gotten away from them in the second half. But we have a stoppage here. The clock stopped at 26:27. When we resume, Molloy will throw. The throw very quickly deflected over by the Lions. The Dolphins with a quick throw of their own. Another quick whistle, and clock was stopped again. 26:07. And we just had a yellow card issued as well. I believe it was Aiden Kolb who picked it up. I do not currently have live stats. I tried to initialize those myself from here, but it does not appear it worked. That one headed past Benvenuto onto the foot of Atonga. Atonga couldn't get there. It was cleared away from him. Atonga will throw. Soriat pressured into the giveaway, or at the very least, the concession of a throw. Ball in the midfield. Alvarado racing to it. He gets there. Alvarado still with it. Beaten back to Schelling, who's way out of goal. Benvenuto up the pitch, heads it. It rolls over toward Maurice. Maurice straight onto the foot of Puleo. Puleo was quickly met by Murphy. Now Asensio Cueva, perhaps thinking cross, thinks better of it. This is Puleo toward goal, and it's loose, but Hunt finally able to secure it. And is he hurt? I don't think so. Just took some time there. And again, the clock is stopped. So Hunt is down, and as I'm trying to work on the live stats for a minute, I actually had our clock stopped on the screen as well. The correct time remaining is now reflected on your screen at 24:01. They're attending to Hunt right now. And I did suspect he might be hurt after the amount of time he spent down following that last sequence, and it does appear that is the case. Didn't really see much. So what we'll do, as Hunt remains down, is throw it to a quick break. When we come back, 24:01 to go from Dolphin Soccer Park.
The NCAA sponsors 90 national championships each year, none of which could happen without officials. There is an urgent need for sports officials across the country, as they are retiring 4 times faster than they are coming in, leaving shortages at all levels of sport. The NCAA recognizes the importance of officiating on the student-athlete experience and is dedicated to the recruitment and retention of new officials for all sports. There are many great reasons to become an official. Stay in shape and get paid to do so. Meet new people and build relationships within a tight-knit community. Give back to the sport you love by creating a fair atmosphere and upholding the integrity of the game. Say yes to officiating. Visit ncaa.org/say yes to officiating for more information on how to get started.
So we're back from Dolphin Soccer Park. I was a bit hesitant to welcome our audience back in, considering that we weren't sure if Callum Hunt was going to stay in the game, if they were going to help him to the bench. Then I think we would have taken another break. But it appears that Hunt is going to stay in, so that's good to see. They attended to him for about a minute or two down on the pitch, and he didn't get up very quickly after covering the ball on that last Dolphins attacking play. He did eventually take a seat, and that was after play had resumed, was looked at by the trainer. He's good to go, and Dolphins now upset with that last foul call. There's a free kick for Molloy here. Lions get right to work, crossing through the midfield. Quick passing, finds Kolb. Kolb shadowed by LaRose. Down goes Kolb, and the Dolphins have possession. LaRose sends it into the midfield. Tawaya was met by Murphy. Both go down. I think Tawaya might have gotten kicked in the face. And we'll see if they stop the clock again. I think fortunately he avoided a boot to the face there, but Murphy tumbled over him, and it looked like his cleat came awfully close to hitting Tawaya in the face. Free kick taken by Beaton. Into the box, headed away. Tonga there. And that's a poor pass. Cleo all over it. Beaton back defensively for Atanga. Atanga pressured, and it will be a Lions throw. Atanga thought perhaps he was fouled. Does not get the call. Looked like good defense in a tight space there. Always difficult for an attacker as Alvarado intercepts a poor pass. Alvarado for Tawaya, and Tawaya does keep it in briefly, but not long enough. Good effort there by Tawaya just to get to that ball, showing off good speed, but he could not keep it in along the touchline. Goal kick sent a long way and headed all the way down to Schelling. That one off the chest of Benvenuto. Chipped in the air. It's a foot race. Soriat and Dawes. Dawes tripped over the ball. Chance for Soriat. Atanga. In some trouble. And I think his intent was to play that off of a Lions defender. He could not do it. Instead, played it right over the touchline. So Molloy is awarded the goal kick. Dolphins continue a trend here today of playing a much stronger second half than first half. We saw that at American International, due in large part to a red card. But generally speaking, the Dolphins have been much better in the second half. That Georgian court game as well. They stole that game late. They played to a draw against Dominican earlier this week. This ball played up the sideline and cleared away. Tawaya had some room. Looked to play one toward goal. It's broken up, and now Asensio Cueva will throw yet again. Just over 20 minutes to go in the second half. Dolphins still trail by a goal. Asensio Cueva doubled in the corner. Taken down. Ball kept in by Cleo, and he is able to clear it into the midfield. Torres chips it back. Dolphins hope to get to work again quickly. Beaton has some room across midfield. Beaton joining the attack here. Couldn't connect with Atanga, but LaRose there waiting. LaRose for Alvarado. Alvarado Working along the touchline, trying to win the Dolphins a corner. And a foul was called against Alvarado. It looked like Cadena may have taken a boot up high, but he's good. Does have a hand to his head here, but appears okay. Clock was not stopped as we tick down under 19 minutes remaining in this match. Dolphins hoping to avoid an 0-2 start against the ECC. Molloy closing in on their first conference win in their conference opener. Throw-in Lions from just beyond the Dolphins bench. And they've stopped the clock. Did not see why. Perhaps the official had a word with a couple of players. Not really sure. Long throw again. And it's directed wide by CSI. So Molloy earns another corner. That will be their third. Corner on the way. And Schelling again. Able to grab it. Tawaya making a run immediately after Schelling secured it. And now he's looking for Soriat. But Soriat just couldn't work around his marker. Good job there by Murphy. Ball came to rest just beyond the 18. And there was a foul called on Soriat in the midst of that run. So I thought that Molloy was going to play on, but there was a whistle. Didn't hear it from up here. Kolb goes down, but they do find Maurice. Atanga does not want to concede that corner, and he ends up with the ball. And he was fouled. Now, Atanga making like an NFL running back there with the stiff arm. Kept it restrained just enough to make sure he wasn't called for that foul. Off the free kick, possession right back to Molloy. That ball for Bishop sends him sprinting toward the far side. He circles back and finds Morgan. Morgan wants Kolb. Kolb looked to cross, and it last touched Beaton. So Molloy will set up for another corner. And at the very least, these corner kicks bleed out a lot of the remaining time. And if you're the Lions, you're quite all right with that. A chance to perhaps score, but maybe even more importantly, a chance to take some time off the clock. Corner on the way, headed toward goal, but over everything. Dolphins get a new ball in quickly, hoping to perhaps catch Molloy out of position. No such luck here as I look to build out of their own end. Paleo. Back to Torres. Back in is Eduardo De Rosa Sotiso. And it looks like Matt Starr is getting prepared to check back in as well. Morgan for Maurice. Atanga with him again. And Atanga commits the foul. That was definitely not his intent. I think he tripped over Maurice. But Molloy is awarded the free kick. And through that, the clock continued to run as well. So we've entered the final 15 minutes. The Lions with a 5-1 advantage in corners, a 1-0 advantage on the scoreboard. However, the Dolphins still lead in shots on goal, 4-3. That one sent middle of the box, headed away by Beaton. And the clock is stopped again. Didn't see the reason why. Maybe that ball got a bit too far, but they have a new one. And it was for a substitution. So Starr was waiting to check in with Molloy leading. The clock stops. Action resumes as we approach 14 minutes to go. And LaRose is grabbed. Clock stopped. Yellow card comes out. And I think Benjamin Byrne knew it, was willing to concede that booking as the free kick was taken too quickly. So they'll have to get one ball off, send another one back to Beaton. Beaton buying himself a few extra feet there. And I think the officials will allow it. Free kick headed for the box. It lands in traffic and is cleared by Molloy. Dolphins will throw to Schelling. That one headed in the air by Alvarado, back the other way by Morgan. Kolb heads it. Volleyed by Starr. Nobody home except Schelling. This is Beaton into the midfield. And that ball headed for the corner, has too much on it, but the Lions will be forced to throw from deep in their own end. So, at the very least, the Dolphins did not concede the goal kick. Molloy will have to throw it. They are certainly capable of a long throw. It's knocked down and cleared away by Maurice. These last several minutes, outside of the corner kick, the Lions have appeared quite content to play defense. They have not really forced the issue at all on the attack. Haven't looked to push the pace too much. And we'll see if the Dolphins can find a way to break through. The crowd wants the Dolphins to hurry here as that ball finds Atanga. Atanga kept it away from Maurice. This is Paleo, shot blocked. Here comes Kolb. Schelling had to sprint back toward goal. Kolb and Beaton collide. And LaRose, working up through the midfield, finally met and had it knocked away by DeRosa Sotiso. Atanga will throw with under 12 minutes remaining in this match. Soriat onto the foot of Tawaya. He wanted Alvarado. And again, it's cleared away by Molloy. Beaton. Ahead for Benvenuto, right back to Beaton. Benvenuto. For Schelling. Torres. For Alvarado. Alvarado working toward the center of the pitch. Finds Atanga. Atanga. Had his pass end up with the Lions. Dolphins couldn't interrupt the exit from that final third, but Molloy will circle back and will take their time with under 11 minutes remaining. Palaio in the right place there, but Maurice got a foot in. Or check that. That was Marseille. It rolls toward the touchline, and the Dolphins will quickly set up a goal kick. Played short to Beaton with just under 10.5 to go. Beaton onto the head of Byrne. It's still in the air. Tawaya got tangled up. He's grimacing. And the Dolphins again, thanks to LaRose, kept it briefly. LaRose down, grabbing his ankle. And now the clock is stopped. So as soon as LaRose reacted to what happened to him, Starr, who looked to be okay, then joined him on the turf and went down himself. But it looks like both will be fine. They've stopped the clock at 9:52. Starr's been shown a yellow card. LaRose is limping, and you could hear him let out a scream from in the enclosed press box. It sounded as if he was in a lot of pain. You never really know whether or not there's anything added for effect to try and get the call, as Palaio's free kick is headed in the air. Not once, but twice. Kolb and Morgan. And Asensio Cueva tried to volley it backwards, kicked it off his own face. Torres kept it away from Morgan there. Now Alvarado with 9.5 to go. Throw in Staten Island. 9 minutes to go. That rolls over the touchline. Dolphins set up for a throw with just over 9 minutes remaining. Dolphins will have to work quickly if they want a chance for 3 points. Otherwise, the focus very quickly shifts to coming away with 1. Throw in a long one toward goal, headed right back at Torres. Torres could cross. He will. It's cleared at him again. Torres tries a third time. No black jerseys in the area. Palaio knocks it down. Atanga has it. Atanga fends off a challenge. Now Torres. Quick move. And no whistle. Good physical defense by Maurice as the Lions clear it. Beaton thought about throwing it, but they had a second ball down here and play continued at the other end. Apparently they allowed the Dolphins to throw from much closer. Soriat tried to sell that, but I think that's a good no call. That was a bit too much. Alvarado has space, thinking about what to do with it, and handball called. Clock stopped at 7:36, and the Dolphins have been awarded a penalty kick. See if we can get a look at it before they set up. And we'll wait, but we'll get a look at the handball and the penalty kick coming up in just a few moments. The Dolphins, as I mentioned, had to work quickly to think about 3 points, and they will turn to Peterson LaRose for a penalty kick that could serve as the equalizer. Callum Hunt in goal. LaRose lined up over the dot. LaRose scores! And the Dolphins, via the LaRose PK, have gotten even with 7:36 remaining in the second half. And I mentioned it before, Molloy could possibly regret how they had turned down the aggressiveness, became extremely defensive late in this match, and perhaps they just paid the price. First, we'll get a look at the handball, see if we can spot it. Oh, no question. No question about it. And then if we get another stoppage, we'll give you one more look at the LaRose goal. This ball headed into the midfield, kept in, so that will have to wait. But LaRose delivers, and the Dolphins have gotten even at 1 goal per side. Whistle here in the midfield. Clock stopped again. And with that stoppage, here's a look at the PK. Just over 7 minutes remaining from Dolphins Soccer Park in a game where the Dolphins now have an opportunity to come away with 3. If they can strike for a late goal, they could win it. Molloy hoping to do the same as we resume with 7 minutes to go. That one headed toward the touchline, and immediately after netting the equalizer on the penalty kick, the Dolphins have conceded a corner kick, and again the clock has been stopped. This time at 6:48. The trainer was being waved on, and Allison right on it. She was already there. LaRose is the Dolphin who is down. Looks like it's his left leg, or perhaps the right, as they're working on his right leg right now. A lot of these Dolphins have played huge minutes. Again, we don't have the official tally via the live stats. Looks like sidearm might be having an issue with those. We did have them during game 1, but I confirmed the details on the back end, and it appears we're all good to go. We're going to try one more thing here while we have a stoppage. See if this works. Yeah, no luck. But LaRose is headed off, and that is a big loss for the Dolphins late in a match that is tied at 1 goal per side. You'd love to have one of your premier goal scorers out there to try and net what could be a game winner. And if another goal is scored, there's a very high probability it would be a game-winning goal. But as LaRose heads off, Molloy is set for a corner kick. Corner on the way. Chipped in the air. Atanga clears. Waiting for it, however, was Murphy. Murphy into the box, headed toward goal, and Schelling reached up to grab it. The Lions tried to claim he was in. Oh, boy, was that close. I don't think you're ever going to see an official make a call like that in a spot like this, but we'll let our audience be the judge. Whew. Really, really close. Really, really close. As we have a foul in the midfield against the Dolphins. Free kick Molloy with 6 minutes to go. They're working on LaRose over at the trainer's table. William Lopez never came back after leaving with an injury earlier. And he is among the Dolphins' leading goal scorers, along with Wolfgang Alvarado. Peterson LaRose with a goal already this year as well, as the Dolphins draw the foul in the 18. Free kick, Staten Island, with under 5.5 to go. beaten. Into the midfield. Benvenuto for Soriat. Now Villegas. He took some contact from behind. Good physical defense. Alvarado goes down. And Molloy has it in the midfield. Starr. Looking toward Murphy. Instead, almost sent it right to Benvenuto. It ends up with Byrne. Byrne. Short pass. Starr. Into the box with that cross. Volleyed in front. Maurice had it sent off of him and high. A collective sigh of relief from the Dolphins fans in attendance. It came this close. 3 words here. Oh my goodness. That would have been the most unorthodox goal in the career of Steph Maurice. He's a junior. I would venture to bet that would be the most unorthodox goal he's ever scored. Dolphins trying to clear it, sent a rocket off the thigh of Maurice, and it traveled just high. Free kick Staten Island awarded with just under 4 minutes to play. Paleo will take it. He's been dangerous in these kinds of situations. That one into the box, a good one, and nobody makes contact. Alvarado does, but his shot not close, and it stays in before finally rolling over the touchline. Throw in Molloy. 3:15 to go from Dolphin Soccer Park. And a foul is whistled against the Dolphins. Free kick Lions. 3 minutes remaining. Both of these teams vying for their first conference win. Molloy playing their conference opener. The Dolphins playing conference match number 2. Looking to secure at least a point here. Both sides would love to secure 3. Ball played by the body of Byrne. Now Kolb. Benvenuto right there. Soriat with a good defensive play. Now Villegas for Soriat. Soriat fending off a challenge from Byrne. This is a Tonga. Ahead of everybody. Maurice back to Hunt. Hunt into the midfield. Tawaya volleys for Benvenuto, who couldn't keep it down. Throw in Molloy. Just over 2 minutes remaining. Into the midfield. Marseille. It gets through everybody and finds Maurice. I'm not even sure Maurice expected that as Benvenuto clears it. Another corner kick for Molloy as we close in on the final 90 seconds of this match. Both teams hoping to come away with 3 points, the Lions and Dolphins, with a few precious seconds left to make it happen. Here comes the Molloy corner kick toward the back post, headed in the air. Schelling went down really hard there. And I do believe the clock is still running. It has finally stopped. But Schelling really went down hard there. He had to go up after that ball and came crashing down to the turf. Here's a look. They're holding the trainer off. Oh. That is not pleasant. Did not have a chance to break that fall at all. And the trainer does ultimately come out. Both teams now with a chance to gather themselves and perhaps plot the final 67 seconds of this match mentally. No conversation with the benches here, but both of these teams, at best, probably have one last opportunity forthcoming. It is a Dolphins free kick following the foul. They'll back shelling up a bit here, but he hopes to get something started. Here we go. Clock starts at 1:05. The final minute from Dolphin Soccer Park has begun. Sariat giving chase. Marseille plays it back to Hunt. Hunt has to work quickly, gets it away. Ball back in the midfield, headed by Torres. Alvarado has it. Looking. He plays it back to Beaton. 40 seconds remaining. Beaton able to avoid DeRosa Sotiso. That ball toward Alvarado. A lot of contact and a foul against Alvarado. Well, the crowd did not like that. We may get a clock stoppage here. And if not, this very well may do it. Molloy does not have much time. Hunt checks over his shoulder. Last chance for Molloy. Headed to Kolb. Torres diving is able to clear it into the bench area. A foul was whistled there, but time is going to run out on these two teams as Staten Island and Molloy battle to a 1-1 draw here at Dolphin Soccer Park. A pair of entertaining matches today. Women's soccer up first against Goldie Beacom. They fell in that game 2-1. As for the men, they are now 0-1-1 in conference play as they battle the Molloy University Lions to a draw. Our final score, Molloy 1 and Staten Island 1. And it was a good one. A lot of ones today from the College of Staten Island. And for CSI, that ends a 3-match homestand. The Dolphins head on the road as they take on St. Thomas Aquinas College midweek. I will be there in Spark Hill on Wednesday. Audio-only coverage on the Sportsnet YouTube channel. Live video on Flow College. But until then, everyone, thanks for watching. Once again, our final score, the Dolphins and Lions tie at 1. It is a draw and 1 point in the conference standings for each of these two teams. Dolphins back in action on the road at St. Thomas Aquinas on Wednesday. Tune in via our audio-only broadcast over on the CSI Sportsnet YouTube page, or be sure to watch live on Flow College via the Stack stream. Thank you again for watching, and everyone, enjoy the rest of your Saturday night.